After discovering that she is the daughter of the goddess of the unliving, a young princess decides to set off on a journey to find the warriors of an ancient prophecy and help them defeat the gods of the underworld. Today we're going to recap the story of the series, Maya and the Three, from 2021. Floating on an ancient sacred lake is the legendary kingdom of Tekka, where there is a great prophecy. According to the elders of that kingdom, a mighty eagle and 3 brave jaguars would one day appear to defeat the lords of the underworld. Hundreds of years after this prophecy was announced, the 3 jaguars were born who, together with their father, are responsible for keeping their people safe and are looking forward to Princess Maya's 15th birthday. They all ventured into hostile environments and took great risks to get a decent present for their sister, who will be crowned that afternoon. However, when they get to the girl's room, they discover that Maya has been out all night and the queen begins to believe that her daughter won't show up for the coronation ceremony. So the king sends Chiappa to find the girl and orders him to bring Maya back as soon as possible. That night, the young woman ran away from home to take part in an illegal wrestling ring and decided to take on the undefeated great champion called Bear Killa. To prevent her identity from being discovered, Maya wears a mask to hide her face and appropriates the codename Eagle Claw. When they see the girl enter the arena, everyone starts laughing, as they are sure that Bear Killa will crush her. However, Maya has spent several weeks analyzing her opponent's movements and manages to dodge all his blows. Then she hits him with an uppercut and everyone is amazed to see her knock down her opponent with a single punch. Furious, Bear Killa gets up and tries to hit her once more, but the princess manages to knock him down with a kick to the chest. While celebrating her early victory, Maya ends up being captured by her enemy, but manages to get rid of him and finishes the fight with an elbow. Just when the fight seemed to be over, Bear Killa surprised her with an attack and managed to break the girl's arm. However, despite being wounded, Maya decides to continue the battle and Chiappa appears just as the princess is about to be punched in the face. Seeing Maya unconscious, the feline decides to take her to the palace and the queen uses a maneuver to fix her daughter's arm. At that moment, Maya wakes up and starts screaming in pain, but she is very happy to have almost beaten the great wrestling champion. Unlike her mother, the princess can't imagine herself as a diplomat. Her true desire is to become a great warrior and go on epic adventures alongside her brothers. However, her mother doesn't support this decision and destroys the mask Maya wears to take part in the illegal fights. That afternoon, while the young woman prepares for the big ceremony, the king and queen receive the guests from other kingdoms who have come to honor Maya. However, just as the princess is being crowned, a great storm approaches and Zatz, the prince of bats, appears riding a puma skeleton called Colmillo. At that moment, all the warriors of the kingdom of Tekka, including the members of the royal family, prepare for battle, but Maya is ordered not to react. After introducing himself, Zatz asks permission to escort Maya to the underworld, where the young woman will be sacrificed to meet Lady Mikt, the goddess of the unliving, her real mother. Determined to protect the princess, King Tekka and his 3 sons prepare for the attack, but Zatz summons 2 stone giants to help him in the battle. While the king tries to eliminate the monsters, spear, daggers and shield team up to confront the Bat Prince, but they end up being easily defeated by him. At this point, the king manages to destroy the stone giants, but his arm gets stuck under a large rock and he has to pull it out to free himself. Seeing her family in danger, Maya decides to act. Realizing that he is at a disadvantage in the fight, Zatz decides to leave, but says he will be back soon. Worried about the future of her family, the queen asks for the support of the other kingdoms to win the war, but they all decide to turn their backs on the people of Tekka, because they don't dare fight against the gods. After fulfilling his mission, Zatz returns to the underworld and informs the god of war and his wife, the goddess of the unliving, that the Tekka army will soon be marching through the infinite forest. The next morning, Maya discovers that her birth is the result of a betrayal, as King Tekka betrayed his queen years ago with Lady Mikt. Even though she knew Maya wasn't her biological daughter, when the forest gods brought her to her, the queen took her in very warmly and came to love her immensely. After revealing the truth to his daughter, the king and his army set off towards the infinite forest in an attempt to reach the divine gate, and soon come up against Lord Mictlin, who challenges them to an insane battle. Determined to help her father and brothers in the war, Maya distracts her mother to get out of the palace and follows the footsteps of her family through the forest. However, after several hours on the road, the young woman finds her father's almost lifeless body being dragged by Chiappa and immediately prepares to fight Zatz. Despite being a messenger for the god of war, the Bat Prince feels a lot of empathy for humans and says he has no desire to eliminate the king. He then hands the weapons of the jaguars to Maya and reveals that they were eliminated in battle along with the entire army. After breaking the sad news, Zatz leaves and, that evening, the princess and her parents hold a funeral to honor the perishment of her brothers. Determined to avenge them, Maya spends all night in the library studying the great prophecy and discovers that her people have interpreted it all wrong from the start. As a result, the Tekka army lost the battle. The true prophecy says that the rooster, the skull, the puma and the eagle will unite to defeat the lords of the underworld. To find them, Maya must travel to Luna Island, then pay a visit to the Jungle Kingdom and finally climb the Golden Mountains. Knowing that her daughter won't give up until she finds the three warriors, Queen Tekka decides to present her with her old armor, because she now knows that Maya is the eagle who is destined to lead the war against the gods. After inheriting her father's eagle claw, Maya goes to talk to Chiappa and asks him to accompany her on this mission. The next morning, the young woman says goodbye to her parents and heads into the forest to her first destination. At dusk, the young woman is surprised by the arrival of a cat, the goddess of tattoos, who has been sent with Zatz to capture Maya and take her alive to the underworld. During the duel, the Bat Prince secretly hopes for Maya's victory and is happy to see the young woman able to dodge all of Akat's blows. However, despite being an excellent warrior, the young woman can't shake off the rain of darts thrown by her opponent and ends up being knocked down. However, just as she was about to be captured, Maya stabs a cat with her own dagger and she faints. At that moment, the princess takes up her eagle claw to eliminate her enemy, but when she sees her unconscious, Maya gives up on her revenge and continues on her way. When he realizes how strong and benevolent this young woman is, Zatz begins to fall in love with her and lets her escape. It's not long before Maya finds Luna Island and quickly climbs the stairs, as a cat is still trying to eliminate her. When she tries to fight back, the princess loses her weapon and is about to be seriously injured when Zatz appears to interfere in the battle. After hearing the harsh words of the man she loves, the cat decides to leave and the Bat Prince throws a rope to help Maya climb to the top of the island. After returning the girl's weapon, Zatz leaves and wishes the princess good luck in completing her mission. At dawn, Maya invades the Sorcerer's Council and claims that Grand Bruja is the sorcerer rooster who will help her fulfill the prophecy. When she hears this, the woman laughs and refuses to accompany her on this insane mission. However, she asks Rico to go in her place and says that this is a great opportunity for the young man to prove his worth as a sorcerer. Together with his staff, Estefan, the young man accepts the challenge and Maya goes to meet Chiappa to continue her journey. On the way, the trio come across two mysterious children who claim they will take them to the kingdom of the jungle. However, on arriving in the middle of the forest, Maya discovers that she has been tricked and will now have to fight Kabrakan and his wife, Sapakli. After defeating Kabrakan with his magic, Rico ends up injured and Maya has to face the goddess of the alligators alone. However, during the battle, the god of earthquakes returns and, while trying to escape from him, Maya and Rico end up falling into a trap. While Rico tries to get out of the hole, Maya is captured and about to be sacrificed when the sorcerer manages to free himself. Before the young man can take Estefan back, Kabrakan appears and destroys the staff. Meanwhile, Maya manages to free herself and is saved by Chiappa, who flees after rescuing his friends. When she realizes that Kabrakan is willing to destroy the entire forest to capture them, Maya decides to take action and asks Rico to help her get rid of the fireballs that are in the way. With Chiappa's help, the young woman manages to get close to her enemy and takes his head off with a single blow. After trapping the man in a hole, Maya frees Sapakli, who was also almost crushed during her husband's attack. Grateful for the girl's help, the alligator goddess decides to let her go and claims to be in her debt. Hours later, upon arriving in the Jungle Kingdom, Maya and Rico come across numerous guards and end up being shot by tranquilizer darts. When they wake up, they are taken to meet the Dowager Queen and Maya says that she has traveled far to find the warrior skull of the Jungle Kingdom. According to the Queen, the greatest warrior in her kingdom is known as El Monstro Blanco and lives in a burnt tree in the middle of the jungle. As they approach Chimmy, Maya and Rico are attacked with numerous arrows and are about to be eliminated. However, when she discovers that the girl is the daughter of the goddess of the unliving, Chimmy decides to listen to her and agrees to join the mission, but in exchange Maya must promise to introduce her to Lady Mikt, her favorite goddess. After a few hours walking through the jungle, the group comes across two more gods sent by Lord Miklin. Hura, the god of storms, and Kan, the god of wind, send a huge tornado to wipe them out and manage to immobilize their prey. However, when he comes across El Monstro Blanco, Hura decides to eliminate her, but Rico uses his powers to produce a shield around Chimmy. Meanwhile, Maya starts a duel against Kan and Chimmy is thrilled to realize that these people are fighting to save her. At that moment, for the first time since her mother's perishment, the young woman feels part of a family and, seeing Rico and Maya being attacked, she uses her arrows to try to eliminate Kan. However, the god of the wind is stronger and is about to crush her when Riko manages to produce a spell powerful enough to defeat him. Then, as the group prepares to flee, the twin gods rise up and combine their powers to form an even bigger hurricane. At this point, Chimmy realizes that she has no choice but to trust her new friends and enlists Maya's help to take down her enemies with a single arrow. After winning yet another battle, Maya feels even more confident that she is on the right path to defeating the god of war and heads with her friends to the kingdom of the Golden Mountains. However, on entering the palace, the three youngsters end up in a dungeon, where they meet the king and Princess Barbara. According to the princess, Pichu is the greatest warrior in her kingdom and lives on the Cliffs of Lament, where he fights the fog every day. The warrior blames himself for the perishment of his family and, since his last battle, has never been able to forgive himself. However, when he receives Maya's offer to join her in a battle against the gods, Pichu immediately accepts the invitation, believing that this will be a way of redeeming himself for the mistake he made in the past. So, after meeting Chiappa, Maya and her new friends head back to the Tekka Kingdom with the aim of going through the portal that will take them to the underworld. That night, while the group is taking a break, Maya receives a visit from Zatz and decides to attack him. During the duel, the young man says that he is also a demigod, just like the young woman, and states that he no longer intends to take her to the underworld. Instead, Zatz reveals that his father is planning to start a war against Lord Mictlan and asks Maya to join them in defeating the god of war. However, the young woman doesn't trust Zatz's words and says that she doesn't need anyone other than her friends to fulfill her mission. The next morning, an army of stone giants invades the kingdom of Tekka and the king and queen decide to join the soldiers to protect their people. Hours later, Maya arrives in town and asks for Chiappa's help to find her parents while she and her friends eliminate the giant. When she finally finds her family after spending several weeks away from home, Maya discovers that her mother is pregnant and helps her take her father to meet the healers. After introducing her new friends, Maya notices the presence of new invaders in her kingdom and soon discovers that a legion of gods from the underworld are there to capture her. When she is attacked, the princess begins a duel against Skull and Bone, the goddesses of thieves, while her friends split up to face the other gods. With the help of the weapon she inherited from her father, Maya throws the two sisters out of the palace and goes after her friends. Minutes later, the princess meets Chimmy and, on seeing her, Vukyub, the god of wild animals, decides to run away and hides in the treetops. Together, the two friends go to meet Pichu and help him defeat Ishtabai. Meanwhile, Riko confronts Chivo, the god of dark magic, who fixes his broken staff so that the two of them can fight as equals. However, even with Estefan's help, Riko is unable to beat his opponent, as he finds it very difficult to trust himself. Then, just as the young man was about to be eliminated, his friends show up to save him and Chivo decides to leave, because he knows he can't defeat so many warriors on his own. However, it isn't long before the man returns with his entire team and starts a new duel against the young warriors. During the battle, the weapons of Maya and her friends begin to emit a strong golden glow. When she sees that light, the princess strikes Bone with her eagle claw and, for the first time in history, a human manages to eliminate a god. Seeing her sister lifeless, Skull is surprised and promises that she will avenge her in the next battle. To avoid suffering the same fate as one of their team members, Chivo and the other gods decide to flee and Maya thanks her friends for fighting by her side. That night, while celebrating her team's victory, Maya plans the next steps and says that, at dawn, she and her friends will go through the Divine Gate. However, she knows that her father is too weak to take part in the battle, so she asks her mother to stay in the kingdom to look after the king and her baby. After a long journey, Maya and the three warriors finally manage to reach the Infinite Forest and find the Divine Gate. However, after crossing it, the group is not sent to the underworld. Instead, they fight a giant stone monster and must defeat it if they want to reach the realm of the gods. During the battle, Maya enlists the help of her friends to reach the monster's chest and attaches a talisman to the statue's body to open the portal. When she realizes that Chiappa has hurt himself, Maya asks him to return to the kingdom of Tekka so that the healers can tend to his wound. Then, after saying goodbye to his friends, the feline walks back home and the rest of the team crosses into the underworld. When they get there, the group is greeted by Zatz and he says that he wants to join Maya in this battle. With the help of the Bat Prince, the warriors manage to reach Lord Mictlan's temple and pretend to be Zatz's prisoners in order to enter without arousing suspicion. However, soon after crossing the gates, Zatz reveals that he has joined those warriors and the god of war sends his serpents to capture him. Seeing his son in trouble, General Kamazatz decides to act and has his heart ripped out. After devouring the heart of one of his greatest warriors, Lord Mictlan becomes even stronger and invades the minds of Maya's friends to force them to attack her. However, just as he was about to eliminate his friend, Rico manages to resist the influence of the god of war and uses his magical powers to help Maya free the other two members of the team. Together, they attack Lord Mictlan and combine their skills to gain the upper hand in the battle. However, despite being extremely strong, the humans are no match for the god of war alone and, after defeating them, Lord Mictlan captures Maya to begin the sacrifice. What he doesn't realize is that when she sees her daughter about to be sacrificed, the goddess of the unliving decides to betray her husband in order to save her. Seeing Chimmy approaching, Lady Mikt hands her a dagger so that she can strike her enemy and then frees Maya. At that moment, the young woman and her friends take the opportunity to flee, because Chivo and his legion of underworld gods are after them. However, during the escape, the group ends up being cornered and everyone is about to be taken prisoner when a giant owl approaches and tries to help the humans escape. The problem is that the bird can't take off with all that weight and ends up being captured, so Pichu decides to stay behind and attacks the gods of the underworld so that his friends can escape. With the help of Colmillo, Zatz's faithful squire, Pichu faces Lord Mictlan and perishes like a true warrior. After his elimination, he finally finds his parents again and starts a new life on the spiritual plane with Colmillo, his new Puma friend. When he finally reaches the infinite forest, the owl, who was wounded in battle, can no longer fly. As it falls to the ground, the bird transforms and Maya is surprised to discover that it was Lady Mikt who saved her. After mourning Pichu's perishment, the princess comes to the conclusion that she was also mistaken about the prophecy, so she asks her friends to return home and warn their people about Lord Mictlan's possible attack. As Pichu is no longer with them, Maya asks Zatz to go to the Golden Mountains and tell the king and princess of the barbarians what has happened. Meanwhile, the princess will stay with the goddess of the unliving until she recovers, as she needs to interrogate her to find out how to eliminate the god of war. When her biological mother wakes up, Maya asks why Lady Mikt risked herself to save her, since she always wanted her eliminated. At that moment, Lady Mikt reveals that a few years ago, she discovered that whoever sacrificed a demigod of the unliving would become the most powerful god in the underworld. So she decided to get pregnant by a human and gave birth to Maya with the aim of taking possession of this power. However, from the moment she held her daughter in her arms for the first time, Lady Mikt came to love her, and every year, on Maya's birthday, she ventured out to visit her. Upon hearing this story, the girl decides to forgive her mother and takes her to the kingdom of Tekka, where she introduces her to the rest of the family. When they discover that Lord Mictlan will appear at any moment to declare war on the human kingdoms, the king and queen of Teak decide to prepare their army for battle. Days later, when the god of war and the other gods of the underworld arrive in the kingdom of Tekka to begin the battle, soldiers from Luna Island, the Jungle Kingdom and the Golden Mountains show up to duel alongside Maya. When she sees Lord Mictlan trying to eliminate her daughter, the goddess of the unliving decides to intervene and her husband is surprised to discover that she has betrayed him. In an attempt to end the war, the goddess begs Lord Mictlan to return to the underworld, but he is blinded by his desire for power and decides to duel his beloved. While the armies of the other kingdoms divide to attack the other gods of the underworld, Maya and her friends unite to defeat the god of war. Realizing that he is at a great disadvantage, Lord Mictlan summons a large army of zombies to defend him, as well as countless stone giants who have been revived through dark magic. When he sees Gran Bruja seriously injured, Rico uses his magic to heal her and asks Estefan to protect her. For a long time, the young wizard believed that he needed his staff to be a wizard, but now that he has learned to trust himself, he realizes his true power. On his own, Rico manages to control an army of stone giants and uses them as soldiers to support his friends in the battle. At that moment, Lord Mictlan attacks Maya and is about to eliminate her, but Lady Mikt and the King of Tekka unite to protect their daughter. Suddenly, Sapakli and Kabrakan appear to help in the battle, as they owe Maya a debt of gratitude. Thanks to the girl, the couple managed to save their marriage, so they both decide to fight alongside her to repay her. In addition to them, Vucube also decides to join the humans and helps Chimmy to fly over the battlefield so that she can shoot her arrows at the enemy army. While the war is going on, inside the castle, the Queen of Tekka gives birth to a couple of babies and her husband is delighted to discover that he is the father of twins. Seeing her husband being eliminated, Sapakli attacks Lord Mictlan, but also ends up having her heart ripped out. After devouring them, the god of war realizes that he needs to become stronger if he wants to defeat those humans and decides to sacrifice his own allies to steal their hearts. After taking possession of the power of all those gods, Lord Mictlan transforms into a two-headed dragon and Maya decides to invade the beast's body to destroy its heart. Before starting her plan, the princess kisses Zatz, as this could be her last chance to do so. With Chiappa's help, Maya runs along the monster's body in an attempt to reach its head. However, when she realizes that the palace is about to be destroyed, she decides to change her strategy and returns to the ground. Seeing her husband trying to devour her daughter, Lady Mikt attacks him and is seriously injured. Then, to protect his beloved, Zatz strikes the monster, but ends up being devoured. After losing her boyfriend, Maya realizes that her mother has been poisoned and is also about to perish. In her last seconds of life, Lady Mikt thanks her daughter for forgiving her and, after witnessing the perishment of her biological mother, Maya is overcome with fury. The young woman challenges Lord Mictlan to a battle till the end and invades the throat of one of the dragon's heads. At that moment, the second head begins to chase her and destroys its own body as it tries to prevent the girl from reaching its heart. Even on the brink of elimination, Maya doesn't give up on her mission and uses her eagle claw to pierce the enemy's heart. When the dragon is eliminated, all the zombie warriors disappear and the survivors mourn Maya's sacrifice. That day, the young princess joined her friends on the spiritual plane and, for a few minutes, they all had the chance to revisit their beloved relatives who are still in the world of the living. At this point, Chimmy finally gets the chance to hug her mother and Zatz meets his parents again. Before leaving, Maya introduces her perished brothers to the two new members of the family. In gratitude for her sacrifice, the Celestials granted the princess the honor of merging with the sun while Zatz, her true love, merged with the moon. This way, they can be together forever and ever. So what did you think of this series? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more series recaps. See you next time.